Well, the San Antonio Spurs, they certainly roared back last night. Hello, welcome to NBA Today for this Cleveland show. We have some gentlemen with Cleveland roots. Amon Shumpert,
yeah, man,
he won that title in 2016 with these Cavaliers.
DG,
yes, drafted by Cleveland. And of course, Ohio native Brian Windhorst here. I'm Malika Andrews. I don't have any roots with Cleveland, but by judging by the fans behind us here, it seems like it's the New York Knicks that are in the building here early, my friends.
Yeah, it looks like they're trying to take over the city, too.
Yeah, the energy, you can certainly feel it here ahead of Game 4 as the New York Knicks are trying to do something that they have not done since 1999. Josh Hart, Karl Anthony Towns, they spoke earlier at Shoot-Around. Let's take a listen. Shumpert, talking about wanting to see the Eastern Conference battle.
Those the Nuns.
We're certainly seeing that.
That's what they need.
And
They
they're
need the
blessed. They were blessed here by the Salesian Nuns. Area 51, that
Right
connection early here. And then later on in the first quarter, once again, the Spurs got out to a hot start, and you wondered, okay, is this the time they're able to hang on to it?
Yeah, and you thought maybe the Thunder would make a comeback at them, but they weren't blessed.
Yeah, it was certainly the Spurs giving OKC a dose of their own medicine. So are we calling this Area 51 or Area 59? After
All
last
right.
night. Oh no, I'm gonna get
Long
booed off the
show.
court. All right, pre-game, Victor Wembanyama, he always, gets up some half-court heat.
Messing around.
They're not looking great. But in the game is when it matters the most. Victor Wembanyama, the final seconds of the first half here, pulls up. He makes it look easy.
Got all the misses out.
Friends.
Got all his misses out.
So here is Victor. Here's what he had to say about that shot after the game.
Look at the rainbow.
Those of us who watched you kind of mess around shooting half-court shots after shoot-arounds and practices, it doesn't seem like you make a whole lot of those when you're messing around.
I was just thinking shoot to score. I wasn't messing around at halftime.
How could you not love that man?
Love it.
To the third quarter we go here. Castle, once again, looking for Victor Wembanyama.
Upstairs.
Castle's fingerprints were all over this game.
Yes, they were.
Castle was a superstar in the third quarter of this game, no doubt.
Without a doubt. He just keeps bringing it. We talk about that level of competition. He has every possession. He's screaming. He's happy for his teammates. When he made that half-court shot, Castle jumped into his arms like a little kid. That boy loved basketball.
And the Nuns are loving it.
They approve.
Look at him. Look at him. Hey, he flopped. Nope, that's what you get.
He
Don't
just
flop.
bounced it back there and said, somebody take it.
Hey!
By the way, this was uncharacteristic of OKC.
Why would you? Don't sell it.
They had 20 turnovers in this game.
Yeah.
Hey!
They were the ones forcing the turnovers against the Spurs last
This was
night.
pretty cool. You can see Victor leaning on Mitch Johnson. In the same moment, another generation, Tim Duncan, leaning on the great Greg Popovich as the Spurs go on to win this game pretty handily. And Wemby's the first player
Deja vu.
to average 30, 10, and 3 blocks a game through the first 4 games of a conference finals since Tim
Timmy
Duncan.
D.
Yeah, that was in 2003. And before that, only Hakeem and Kareem have done this since blocks became official in 74. Let's take a listen to Wemby after the game.
We didn't do nothing unexpected, but the truth is that we had never been in this kind of situation before. It was our first deficit in a playoff series, and we just responded, but it was nothing amazing. It wasn't magic. We just did what we needed to do, and the series is far from over.
All right, so the Spurs, in all honesty, Brian, they came out and looked like a team that was down 2-1 and had to win. And yet, it's easy to take away more from this Game 4 than just that.
They played with force and desperation. If they had gone down 3-1,
Yeah.
I don't know, guys. I mean, Thunder are really good. To beat them 3 in a row, I almost thought this was a quasi-elimination game. I wasn't sure we were going to get from Wemby. We're still learning about him. He's still learning about himself. I thought he looked a little worn down in Game 3.
Yeah.
He had 6 dunks in Game 1. Amazing, right? And the overtime, I know, helped that. Game 2, 1 dunk. Game 3, 1 dunk. I just didn't think he had the same force and burst. 4 dunks last night, and it's not all about the dunks, but it's about what they sort of represent, about his energy level. And I will say this, you can say that they're young and that they're inexperienced and they may make mistakes. They have repeatedly answered the call this year in these playoffs when they faced adversity. It happens in all 3 rounds, and it leads me to believe that they will be able to do it again if they face it again.
I was with you, Brian. I was a little concerned about his fatigue because it starts and stops with him. Like, if he doesn't play like the best player on the floor night in, night out, they don't have a chance. And you've seen in Game 3, I think he had 12 points through most of the game. He kicked it up in the fourth quarter, but if he doesn't start with that and enforce that his power in the game, it's going to be tough for them to survive. They're going to need that, especially on the road in Game 5 at OKC. And those other guys, he empowers and feeds into those other guys to play at a high level, especially defensively. Castle, Harper, they're going to need some bench production, of course, but it starts with Wemby.
I don't think that he's tired. I think it's just one of them things that he doesn't really know where to assert himself. You remember he had that.
Could be Isaiah Hartenstein.
The other day he had that quote where it was interesting. He said, I need to find a way to make my teammates better, and I need to do that. And I think we took it as he's going to be looking for them more. But I think it was just action-based. He understands that, hey, I need to be in the right position. I need to sprint to screens. He was sprinting to screens. He was sprinting the floor. He was aggressive early on and saying, give me the ball, kind of yelling into their ear, so to speak, to say, hey, give me the ball, trust me, I'm going to get us going. And I think that assertiveness is what won it in.
So also on the Spurs defense on SGA, they doubled him less in this game.
And late.
Which was interesting.
Picked and chose moments when to do so.
I think it was more like it seemed like at the end of the shot clock mostly, where they didn't leave right away. Everybody stayed home, and then randomly, if you brought in action late, under 8 seconds, 10 seconds, they ran and jumped at you, and it wasn't always a closed trap. It was a trap, but we're kind of going for the passing lanes.
One of the most important stats in this game is Alex Caruso, who was shooting 60% on threes.
Yeah.
Non-existent.
He only took one shot.
Yeah.
It wasn't that he had a bad game. He had a non-existent game, and that is the byproduct of not doubling Shea so hard on the perimeter and staying attached
Stand in front of people.
And I'm going to tell you something. One thing, Malika, the Spurs didn't play a perfect game. They only shot 38%.
Yeah.
They shot 27% from three.
Yeah.
This game was won at the other end of the court.
Defensively.
No Jalen Williams and no A.J. Mitchell really narrows the
ball handling.
The Thunder's offensive production margin for error. And we saw it all the way through that whole game.
And it certainly puts even more on Shai Gilgeous-Alexander's shoulders if he is having to take those ball handling responsibilities. And so the question, it turns to Game 5, because on the one hand, OKC has home court advantage back, so they should feel good about that. But if they're not healthy, we see what the San Antonio Spurs team is able to do. Let's bring in our senior insider, Shams Charania, here with more as we look towards Game 5. Shams, are we there? Are we there? I think
Morning, Shams. Where's the motorcycle jacket?
Oh, yeah. No, he's dressed up today.
Motorcycle jacket today.
Shams, what more can you tell us about the status here of both Jalen Williams and A.J. Mitchell as we look towards Game 5 in Oklahoma City?
Woo.
Malika, the Thunder are still evaluating both Jalen Williams and A.J. Mitchell on a day-to-day basis. J-Dub, a.k.a. Jalen Williams, we know he suffered a second injury to that same left hamstring in just under 1 month. I am told that he is making some progress in his on-court workouts. He's starting to do more and more. A.J. Mitchell, on the other hand, he's been dealing with right calf tightness throughout the playoffs, and then he was diagnosed over the weekend with a right calf strain. Both of their statuses are very much up in the air for Game 5 on Tuesday night, both dealing with soft tissue injuries. We know the Oklahoma City Thunder as an organization always look at the long-term approach, and when you think about these soft tissue injuries of hamstring as well as a calf, these typically are not just day-by-day injuries.
Yeah, and they are saying it's soreness and not a strain here for J-Dub in particular, but when you hear calf and when you hear hamstring, it's not usually something you see a return from quickly. Shams, thank you for that insight. We'll check in with you as we get closer to that.
I don't really feel like we're that close because, this series is over. If we're blessed enough to move on, then I can answer that question, but if we start thinking of that now, and we start overlooking them, and they're a team that can get hot, that can play well, and turn this into a long series. So don't really got time to think of that until you're fortunate enough to be in that position.
I've talked to you before about we can't just meet the moment, we got to exceed it. And in those moments when we've had those closeout games, we've exceeded the moment. So, it's up to us again to go out there and exceed the moment again.
I don't know, Brian, as we were walking out the other day, it certainly feels like the Knicks, they're doing everything they can to temper expectations. They're proud of what they've done, but at the same time, they feel like they haven't done anything yet. Danny, you've been in this position 4 times. You've gone to the NBA Finals 4 different times. Take us inside what the Knicks are feeling in this moment.
I got to give a lot of credit to the coaching staff and Mike Brown, keeping them in that mind space. I know Kat had an interview after quarter 1 of Game 3. He said, I'm more pissed off that they got 27 points than we have 39. And that's the mindset you have to have. Josh Hart, just, kind of living in the moment and not thinking about what's ahead. It's like, all right, we got to close the series. When we close the series, then I can think more about it. With them being that focused, it's like that Kobe mentality. Yeah, back in the days when locked in, Pop had us locked in. We didn't think about the stage or what was happening or finals. Like, taking it one game at a time, not satisfied, job's not done. That's how they're approaching the game. That's how they got to stay focused and locked in.
Yeah, I like their mindset. I like where they're at. When you're going into a closeout game, usually you want to just get things out the way. But when I look at this, I'm just like, can we get a game? Can we get a little competition going? Can we go back and forth? Can I enjoy New York and Cleveland for a little bit? Because I also want the Knicks or whoever comes out of this battle. You know what I'm saying?
Bravo.
I want whoever that comes out of this battle to be prepared. You don't want them to just be at home chilling and haven't really had any adversity in the Eastern Conference Finals. I just look at what they're doing over there in the West, and I say for the best matchup for basketball,
right,
I just want them to all be, well chiseled.
Well chiseled. Well, despite you wearing all black, the Cavaliers are not done yet here, Shub. They're not done yet. They're on the mat, but they're not quite done yet.
Yeah. We hope not.
We definitely hope not. I'm a guy that's been on the wrong side of a bad record, and it meant nothing. So I understand they can come together. I understand what they can do with their locker room. I just, I expect more. I really do. I have been on their case, but it's because they have a good ball club. Mm-hmm. They just haven't performed up to standard.
And I don't think that they believe that they have either, analytically.
We're
not doing that yet. Let's go over to the Western Conference here before we go down that rabbit hole.